It is a night that New York City will remember for generations, a moment when the very skyline of the world's most iconic metropolis seemed to catch its breath and shift its colors in unison with a global phenomenon. For decades, the towering spires of Manhattan have stood as silent witnesses to history, lighting up for championships, national holidays, and moments of deep global significance. Yet, on this particular Friday evening, as dusk settled over the Hudson River and the bright lights of Broadway began to flicker alive, millions of eyes drifted upward to the crown of the Empire State Building. A soft, glowing electric blue began to pulse from the top of the monumental skyscraper, casting an ethereal radiance across the city streets. To the casual observer, it might have looked like a beautifully orchestrated tribute to the summer sky, but to millions of devoted individuals tracking every single whisper across the digital landscape, it was the ultimate confirmation of a modern fairy tale. It was a visual love letter written in neon and glass, a signal that a monumental chapter had finally been recorded in the history of contemporary pop culture. To truly understand how this single light show captivated the entire world, one must understand the immense gravity of the two individual forces that came together on this unforgettable weekend. On one side stands a literal titan of the global music industry, a lyrical mastermind whose career has spanned decades, broken every imaginable streaming record, and redefined the boundaries of stadium tours and artistic ownership. Her music has served as the emotional soundtrack for generations of listeners, documenting love, heartbreak, resilience, and the intricate poetry of growing up under a constant, blinding spotlight. On the other side stands a fierce competitor, a towering athlete who has reached the absolute pinnacle of professional American football, a multi-time champion known for his charismatic presence, his unmatched work ethic on the gridiron, and his deep roots in this heartland of American sports culture. Separately, they were cultural juggernauts occupying completely different universes, one dominating global arena stages and the other dominating the high-stakes battlegrounds of the stadium gridiron. Together, their unexpected intersection set off a cascade of media fascination that has completely dominated headlines, captured the imagination of multiple generations, and blurred the lines between the entertainment industry and sports world in a way never seen before. As the electric blue sparkle blanketed Manhattan, the city that never sleeps seemed to momentarily pause in celebration of this unprecedented union. The specific hue chosen for the display was not accidental, nor was it a random artistic decision by the building engineers. It was an intentional nod to a deeply rooted cultural tradition, a spectacular materialization of the classic matrimonial custom of carrying something old, something new, something borrowed, and crucially, something blue. For a global artist who has spent her entire life hiding brilliant lyrical clues and intricate thematic puzzles in her albums, music videos, and fashion choices, the transformation of the world's most recognizable skyscraper into her personal matrimonial tribute felt completely poetic. It was an acknowledgement that the scale of her personal milestone was so incredibly massive that a standard venue could not contain the celebration. It required the literal architecture of New York City to join in the chorus. The collective excitement vibrating through the streets of Manhattan and across digital networks was palpable, creating an atmosphere of shared joy that transformed a high-profile celebrity event into a collective cultural celebration. If you are just joining our coverage of this extraordinary, historic weekend and want to make sure you do not miss a single exclusive update, detailed breakdown, or behind-the-scenes look at the biggest event of the decade, please take a brief moment right now to hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications and drop a comment below sharing your favorite moment of this unfolding love story. By subscribing to our channel, you ensure that you are always at the absolute forefront of premium entertainment and cultural news, receiving deeply researched, comprehensive reports the exact second they break. This incredible celebration is only just beginning to unfold, and we have an absolute wealth of spectacular details, exclusive guest lists, and architectural tributes to share with you as we dissect every moving part of this historic occasion. Join our growing community of passionate viewers today and let us navigate the magic, the tension, and the breathtaking magnitude of this unforgettable pop culture milestone together as one collective audience. As the news of the building's spectacular transformation began to ripple across social media platforms, the digital landscape erupted into an unprecedented frenzy of excitement and emotional celebration. The official Instagram account for the Empire State Building became ground zero for millions of eager fans desperately searching for confirmation of the rumors that had been swirling through the city all week. When the account finally uploaded premium footage of the majestic skyscraper, illuminated in that unique light blue sparkle color, accompanied by the simple, poignant caption declaring it as her traditional blue touch. The comment sections completely overflowed with raw emotion. Fans from every corner of the globe expressed their absolute amazement, with many remarking that the grand gesture was a beautiful testament to how deeply New York City embraces its adopted daughter. The sheer scale of the public reaction underscored a fascinating reality. This was no longer just a private union between two wildly successful individuals, but an expansive, shared cultural phenomenon that people felt personally and deeply connected to after watching the couple's journey unfold in the public eye over the past several years. Outside the grand entrance of Madison Square Garden, the epicenter of the weekend's primary festivities, crowds of onlookers and dedicated media crews began to gather, sensing that the true climax of this historic weekend was rapidly approaching. The historic arena, globally revered as the world's most famous theater of sports and live entertainment, stood completely transformed, its massive external digital displays throwing a bright, triumphant message into the evening air. The signs, blinking with crisp precision, confirmed the joyous news that everyone had been waiting for, signaling a final, beautiful culmination to a romance that began with a humble friendship bracelet and a public declaration of admiration on a podcast. The atmosphere surrounding the venue was thick with anticipation, a beautiful mix of high-fashion glamour, intense media scrutiny, and genuine, light-hearted celebration. The stage was now perfectly set, the world was officially watching, and the detailed, intricate story of what actually transpired behind those heavily guarded doors was about to completely reveal itself, launching a brand new era for the world's most famous power couple. While the glowing blue crown of the Empire State Building captured the imagination of the public outside, the true heart of this historic weekend unfolded within the heavily fortified and deeply transformed grand halls of Madison Square Garden. This legendary arena, which has hosted historic boxing matches, political conventions, and iconic rock concerts, became the exclusive sanctuary for a celebration that defied all traditional conventions of celebrity weddings. The atmosphere of tension, exclusivity, and profound elegance reached its absolute peak on Friday afternoon as the highly anticipated wedding ceremony commenced. In a stunning departure from typical high-profile weddings, the couple deliberately chose not to surround themselves with extensive bridal parties or dozens of bridesmaids and groomsmen. Instead, they kept their closest inner circle intact by relying strictly on their deeply devoted siblings to guide them through the sacred vows. The bride's brother, Austin Swift, stepped into the deeply meaningful role of her man of honor, standing proudly by her side, while the groom's famous brother, the legendary former professional football center Jason Kelce, fulfilled the role of best man. The deep bond between these brothers, who have shared the global spotlight for years through their own sports achievements and family podcast, added a powerful layer of raw familial emotion to an otherwise incredibly glamorous event. The sheer elegance of the ceremony was elevated to an entirely new echelon of high fashion through a direct collaboration with one of the most prestigious de Sig and houses in human history. Both the bride and the groom walked down the aisle adorned in breathtaking custom creations from Christian Dior haute couture, designed specifically to reflect their unique personalities while maintaining an aura of timeless, classical sophistication. For a global music icon celebrated for her chameleonic style and historical fashion eras, the choice of Dior represented a perfect marriage of structural mastery and romantic artistry. The groom, a towering physical force accustomed to the rugged, heavily padded uniforms of the football field, looked remarkably regal in a tailored couture silhouette that perfectly matched the grandeur of the venue. To the absolute delight and astonishment of the gathered guests, the solemnity of the high-fashion event was wonderfully balanced by a stroke of pure, light-hearted cinematic magic. The couple chose none other than global comedy superstar and beloved actor Adam Sandler to officially officiate their wedding ceremony. Sandler, wearing a tailored suit but bringing his trademark warmth and irreverent humor, managed to seamlessly blend deep, tearful emotional resonance with moments of pure, unbridled laughter, creating a uniquely personal atmosphere that perfectly captured the couple's well-documented love for comedy and down-to-earth fun. The spectacular Friday nuptials were the grand culmination of a multi-day celebration that originally kicked off with an incredibly intimate, yet deeply lavish wedding rehearsal dinner on Thursday evening. Held within a meticulously redesigned private sector of Madison Square Garden, This preliminary soiree was restricted to a highly exclusive guest list of approximately 100 of the couple's closest friends and immediate family members. The design of the room was an absolute masterclass in romantic luxury, completely draped in heavy, flowing pink fabrics that transformed the industrial architecture of the arena into a soft, dreamlike sanctuary. Massive, towering floral displays composed of rare roses and seasonal blooms cascaded from the ceilings, filling the air with a delicate fragrance and creating an environment that felt entirely removed from the bustling streets of Manhattan just outside the walls. As the rehearsal dinner concluded and the night drifted toward the midnight hour, the couple made sure their inner circle left with a permanent physical token of their appreciation. Each of the 100 guests was presented with a luxurious, custom-designed velvet box containing a pair of diamond-studded champagne flutes, a grand gesture that served as a dazzling preview of the sheer scale of luxury that would define the actual wedding day. The following afternoon, the guest list expanded exponentially from the intimate group of 100 rehearsal attendees to a massive star-studded assembly of exactly 1,000 A-list celebrities, industry titans, and lifelong friends. Madison Square Garden's security details were pushed to their absolute limits as a continuous fleet of luxury vehicles arrived at the private, heavily guarded underground entrances, depositing some of the most recognizable faces in the world of entertainment, film, and media. Onlookers and paparazzi caught fleeting glimpses of Hollywood actresses Dakota Johnson and Zoe Kravitz, both arriving in spectacular evening wear that mirrored the high-fashion energy of the event. Acclaimed actors Hugh Grant and Jason Sudeikis were spotted navigating the arrivals area, bringing a touch of international cinematic prestige and comedic charm to the gathering. The couple's trusted inner circle was fully represented, with legendary publicist Tree Payne overseeing the complex media landscape, and popular late-night television host Jimmy Fallon arriving to celebrate his longtime friends. The sheer density of global star power inside the room created an electric atmosphere of shared celebration, turning every corner of the vast reception space into a living tapestry of modern cultural history, as the 1,000 elite guests took their seats inside the main arena bowl, which had been entirely unrecognizable through structural design and theatrical lighting. A deep silence fell over the crowd just before the music began. The tension inside the room was tangible, driven by the realization that everyone present was witnessing the official union of an American pop culture dynasty. The meticulous planning that went into securing the massive sports arena, keeping the technical details under absolute wraps for months, and coordinating the arrivals of international dignitaries had successfully paid off without a single flaw. The digital displays circling the exterior of the building stood as a bold, bright declaration to the entire city, flashing the words that confirmed the rumors that had gripped the globe. The message was a beautiful, clever nod to the couple's highly publicized engagement announcement from August of 2025, a moment where they had humorously and affectionately summarized their relationship by joking that the world's favorite English teacher and gym teacher were finally getting married. That playful summary, which originally charmed millions of internet users, had now transformed into an absolute reality, surrounded by high-fashion couture, historic architecture, and the collective blessings of their loved ones. The transition from the deeply emotional Adam Sandler officiated ceremony to the grand wedding reception was marked by a massive surge of celebratory energy that reverberated through the very foundations of the arena. The meticulous design team had constructed an expansive, custom dance floor directly over the center of the stadium floor, surrounded by towering video screens displaying abstract, moving artwork that shifted in harmony with the musical backdrop. As the newly married couple made their grand entrance into the reception hall as husband and wife, the 1,000 guests erupted into a standing ovation that rivaled the loudest roars ever recorded during a championship football game or a sold-out stadium concert tour. The couple stood hand in hand, completely radiant, embodying a modern love story that had successfully bridged the gap between two completely separate American institutions. Every detail of the evening, from the custom couture wardrobe to the diamond-studded favors, reflected a profound commitment to making this weekend an unforgettable monument to their journey, setting the stage for a spectacular celebration that would continue late into the New York night. The breathtaking magnitude of the reception at Madison Square Garden marks the definitive arrival of a brand new cultural era, a momentous occasion where the individual journeys of two extraordinarily influential figures seamlessly merged into one historic legacy. To appreciate the full weight of why this union resonates so deeply with millions of observers worldwide, one must trace the story back to its remarkably humble and unexpectedly public beginnings. Their paths first crossed in the midsummer heat of July 2023, when the charismatic football star attended the music icon's record-shattering concert tour during its stop at the home stadium of his Kansas City franchise. Armed with a hand-woven friendship bracelet that playfully featured his personal contact details, the professional athlete had fully intended to present the token directly to the artist. Though the strict requirements of her demanding vocal performance schedule prevented an immediate backstage meeting that fateful evening, the athlete did not let the missed connection dampen his spirits. Instead, he openly and humorously detailed his light-hearted disappointment during a subsequent episode of the wildly popular sports podcast that he co-hosts alongside his brother, Jason Kelsey. Little did he know that this candid public admission of admiration would capture the attention of the songstress herself, sparking a quiet private dialogue that would soon capture the imagination of the entire planet. www.fox13news.com. What followed over the next 3 years was a highly publicized yet remarkably grounded romance that routinely shattered traditional boundaries separating professional athletics from the heights of global pop stardom. The world watched in absolute fascination as the music icon became a regular fixture in the stadium luxury suites, cheering us alongside his family during high-stakes games and famously celebrating on the field, following a historic championship victory. Conversely, the athletic champion proved to be an equally supportive partner, traveling across international borders to stand in the crowds of her global tour, and even surprising fans by making a historic, tuxedo-clad cameo appearance on stage during a massive stadium performance. This mutual devotion culminated beautifully on August 10, 2025, when the athlete proposed at his private residence, presenting the songwriter with an exquisite, custom-designed yellow-gold ring featuring an antique brilliant-cut diamond. The subsequent joint announcement on social media, which playfully joked that the world's favorite English teacher and gym teacher were finally getting married, instantly went viral, setting the stage for what journalists and cultural commentators have officially hailed as America's royal wedding. IanDokipedia.org. Show 1. The grand reception within the hallowed walls of Madison Square Garden beautifully honored every single step of this remarkable multi-year journey. The vast arena, expertly styled by top-tier luxury designers to resemble an unrecognizable, romantic oasis, echoed with the music of legendary artists, including reports of an intimate performance by the bride's iconic musical mentor, Stevie Nicks. Guests mingled under a massive 40-inch mirror ball that cast millions of dancing reflections across the sophisticated custom dance floor, creating a scene that felt simultaneously like an elite Hollywood gala and a joyously energetic stadium victory party. The high-fashion details remained a primary focal point throughout the long night of celebration, with the bride pairing her stunning custom Christian Dior haute couture gown with magnificent Cartier jewelry and elegant footwear crafted by legendary designer Christian Louboutin. Every single detail, from the choice of the venue itself, which serves as a premier destination for both massive musical performances and high-profile sporting events, stood as a brilliant testament to the couple's unique, shared impact on contemporary American culture. www.guardian.com. The celebrations continued into the early morning hours. The true significance of this wedding extended far beyond the walls of the arena and the glowing blue spires of the Manhattan skyline, in a characteristic display of generosity designed to mark their union with positive global change. The newly married couple officially announced a massive joint donation of $26 million to various charitable organizations across the United States. This monumental gesture perfectly underscores why the public remains so deeply invested in their story, as they consistently use their unprecedented collective platform to uplift communities and give back to the fans who have supported them. From a simple friendship bracelet to a spectacular transformation of the historic Empire State Building, their romance has proven that even under the harshest glare of the global spotlight, genuine love, mutual respect, and shared family values can prevail. As the lights of Madison Square Garden finally dimmed, a brand new chapter began for this legendary power couple, leaving the world completely captivated by a love story that will undoubtedly continue to inspire, entertain, and make history for many years to come.